works is many of you may already know that there will be an election on March 6th this year. There are many important issues that will need to be voted on, and one of them we will be talking about today is issue 9. Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'd like to start my question with you, Leonard. What is issue 9?
Issue 9 is a tax levy that we've had on since 1988 for tax levy to help with the expenses of the cemetery. We've never asked for a renewal. I mean, we've asked for renewal, but never no increases, and we're just concerned that we need to get this passed because we don't have money to operate it if we don't, if we can't get it passed. So that's what issue 9 is, and we'd like to have this. Always help support this, and we continue keeping our cemeteries beautiful, so it's better.
Sure, that sounds like a very important issue. All right, Bob, my next question is for you. Can you tell us what issue 9 will cost the average homeowner?
Sure. When the original levy was approved by voters in 1988, it was for 0.4 mils. What we're requesting is an increase of 0.1 mil. That means that for an average property owner with a $100,000 home, the additional cost each month will be 26 cents. In other words, 2 dimes, a nickel, and a penny. So over the period of 5 years the levy will be in effect, we're asking for $15.60. My haircut last week cost more than what we're asking.
Sure.
We're going to try to put it in some type of perception as to what we're asking for.
That sounds pretty reasonable, and just with the economy, prices are rising everywhere, so it's to be expected. Why is the cemetery asking for a renewal levy with an increase?
Everything has gone up. When Scott, who runs the cemetery, started 26 years ago, he was paying about 90 cents for a gallon of gas.
Sure.
Yesterday, the price was, at some of the stations in town, $3.70.
Yeah.
When Scott would buy a set of 3 replacement blades for a mower, it was $10. Today, it's $60.
About 60, a little over 60.
The price of landscaping has gone up. Grass seed, flowers, shrubs, mulch. In addition, salaries have gone up, and the overall costs of operating the cemetery have, because of rising costs and inflation, have increased considerably.
Sure. Yeah, and I do have to say, the cemetery looks great right now. It would be a shame to have to, lose the maintenance to that. So this is definitely an issue that needs to be passed. What other sources does the cemetery direct income from?
To answer that one, about 90% of the operating budget, or a little more than 90%, actually comes from taxpayers, and then 9 to 10% comes from selling of burial spots and opening and closing graves.
And finally, how have taxpayers' dollars been spent in the past several years?
I can answer that. I mean, just on a typical week in the summer, excuse me, just to mow it takes 23 to 25 hours of mowing, and that's it.
Wow.
If you just mow it, one time in a week, in the spring sometimes, you have to mow every 4 days.
With the rain and the way the grass grows,
Yeah. And then you have 20 to 25 hours just trimming around all the stones,
Sure.
and then about 2 hours of push mowing through the walkways because our big mowers won't fit through there.
Sure.
Just to get the mowers ready in the morning is about an hour of my day, so there's 5 hours a week, and then 14 to 15 hours of watering and weeding, and then you throw in a funeral, which takes about 8 hours of your day. So you have just 80 hours of work, just if nothing goes wrong, if my mower doesn't break down or anything else. And then stuff that we do during the year when we have time is we have to put footers in for the monuments, and there's about 40 of those, and I do those about 4 times a year, and that takes up a good 40 to 50 hours during my year. Just record keeping, you know, sometimes I may not have anybody come in and talk to me about something, but there's other days that people are always stopping and looking for records, family members. Genealogy is really big right now, so
Yeah.
I get people coming in there a lot. I get visitors, especially around Indianapolis, 500 time. People stop in when I see Barney Oldfield Stone. So, and then, I don't know if you've ever been out to the cemetery, but the wind out there is amazing. It's like a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
So if I have any kind of a windstorm, that can take me 30 to 50 hours just to clean up and rake.
Yeah, I've seen it when it's bad out there.
Yeah.
I live in the Northwest Northwest
Our
Ohio.
last storm, telephone poles got knocked over, or electrical poles got knocked over.
I remember that, yeah.
And nobody else in town had a windstorm, but I did.
Yeah.
And then we have about 300 bushes that we have to trim. We try to do it when there's a dry period during the summer, but like last summer, we didn't have a dry period, so we're trying to squeeze those in. We painted over 200 of the flower urns.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of the, you know, the people can't make it out there to do stuff like that, some of the older people, so we try to do that for them. And then last year, we tried to level up some of the older stones up on top when we had time, get them level. And we're always having some kind of project. We put on retaining walls. We had to do work on the columbarium, and we built that. So there's always something. And then in the wintertime, it's snow plowing, which this winter, wasn't bad.
Right.
But I did a lot more, I was able to do a lot more raking, and pine cones and stuff like that. And so, I mean, there's always something to do.
Right, just constant.
Yeah, and then in a funeral in the wintertime, instead of one day, it might take 3 days. By the time I get rid of the snow, unthaw the ground, the dirt doesn't come out of the trailer as easy, so, you know, it's more time consuming in the winter. I tell people, they say, well, what do you do in the winter? I say, it's limited, but I'd rather have spring all the time because it's just easier stuff to do. So.
Scott runs a very frugal operation. You inherited a front loader, correct me if I'm wrong, that is 46 years old.
46 years old.
The dump truck that the cemetery board bought was purchased used 22 years ago, and it already had 100,000 miles on it.
Wow.
The only equipment that Scott replaces new are mowers, leaf blowers, uses those a lot, and trimmers. And that's only after they have been repaired and repaired and repaired.
So yeah, it's time for some updating. So is there anything else that you guys would like to touch on today, or want the viewers to know when they go into Catholic on March 6th?
This is a cemetery that reflects a lot of community pride. It's a historic cemetery in many respects. And we want it to continue to reflect the state that it has been in for many years. People have asked, where did the name Union come from? In the title, Wasion Union Cemetery, and it was from 1862, when Clinton Township and the then village of Wasion joined to jointly own and maintain the property.
Okay.
When I first heard Union, I thought it had something to do with the Civil War, because it was started at that point. Interestingly enough, it is a very historic area because one of the original founders of the village, Nathaniel Leggett, is buried there. He was the first person buried in the cemetery. And a lot of people might not realize that the oldest surviving Civil War veteran in Ohio, Dan Klingeman, is buried in that cemetery. He passed away in 1952. So there's a lot of history in that cemetery, and we just want to continue to make sure that it reflects the beauty and the grace that we feel should be reflected when we take care of our loved ones who are buried there.
You guys have done a great job so far, I must say.
Pretty soon, in homes throughout Clinton Township, you'll be receiving these brochures. And we're asking that you take 30 seconds and open the brochures up and check out some of the information that we've put on here and some of the photos that are on here too. And please to support this levy if you can.
Sounds great. Anything else?
No, and I've been on the board along with many of them, but, you know, we don't, anybody hates to ask for more tax money, but I think we've been pretty upfront about it, not waste spending money or anything like that. We need to increase because the cost of stuff is going up. I don't think we're really asking for too much. And like I say, we hate to see all the work that's gotten done out there kind of go down the tube, you might want to say, because of, you know, we don't have the money to do it. We'd like to keep it looking nice as it is. We've had a lot of people comment outside the community that come in for a funeral and say how nice this really is. So that's basically, I guess, what we're trying to do, and hopefully the people will help support it and vote for it, and we can continue to. And I don't think the increase we're asking for is really out of the line either. So.
Anything else, Scott, that you'd like to add?
Someone made a comment to me, it was a visitor from another town, and saying how nice the cemetery was. And she said that, she goes, it's the things that you do that people don't notice. And if you didn't do them, you would notice, like,
Sure.
you know, pick up the pine cone, pick up the branches, pick up the little artificial things that blow around. Just the little things that we do out there that you don't notice, that if we didn't do it, you would notice. So.
Well, they would notice for sure if there's some weeds growing here and there and about. I'm sure they would find that and say, why don't we take care of this and that? And he does, and he would.
And also the VFW and the American Legion and all the veterans, we try working with them, and they're great to work with. The Boy Scouts, I've had 4 different Boy Scouts get their Eagle Scout badge from projects they have done out there. So we try to be service oriented and I try to answer everybody's phone call when they call. I know I can't do this, but I look at it as every weekend's a Memorial Day weekend out there, and every person I bury is either my father, my grandfather, or a child. So I try to do what I think I would want done. So.
Great, that's awesome. I mean, we can't ask for more. You guys are doing a great job, and it's clear you're passionate about it. You're not asking for anything that's unreasonable. I think this is something that Waseon has been pretty good at pulling together and getting things passed when needed. So hopefully they do the same on March 6th. Yeah, thank you for coming in and telling us a little bit about it.
Thanks.